It don't happen, oh, my wonderful people. This news, this one na compilation of Nigeria and Biafra news. According to my brother Charlie Boy, according to my own Igbo interpreting. I don't know about your own because that's not Okwamba na so no okwa ka esa so no ndeba and ma try kwa Igbo. But I hear what Charlie Boy talk here before I go bring on the main anchor of this news. He talk and I quote, "What is worse than Buhari has befallen us." Charlie Boy laments amidst hike in fuel price. Even the so-called Jagabans, you know, people who talk about them. If you people can recall, during those times of 2015, it was say Baba, 215. After the end of 215, 216, they say Baba, the price of the drop. After 216, enter 217, going to another 218. Anyway, wait, enter a child say Baba, they will murder you. They will even enter you to or the punching bag. So, as if that one, they never learned from that lesson, because Buhari wasted 8 years of Nigerians, wasted 8 years of Biafrans, wasted 8 years of every living thing in Nigeria, and almost decreased the population of Nigerians. Now, they keep chatting, on your mandate we shall stand. All 2 hands up, I mean 2 fingers up. How do they take talk? 2 fingers up, anywhere way they go. Even when they salute them, where supposed to salute people. Maybe I don't say no day. Now on a vote, say make you lead on. Anywhere where they salute them, they do 2 hands up. I say, I beg, which kind of president be this one? But I don't keep me, I beg. So, make on see what Charlie Boy talk. He say, what is worse than Buhari? It don't hit Nigerians. They want people to, they want the poor masses to sacrifice. But as I'm talking to you now, they are busy at the National Assembly sharing over 70 billion naira for people that not up to 500 people. For a house, both the National Assembly, House of Reps, and the Senate, they are not up to 500, even 450 they are not up to. But they have a bogus and humongous 70 billion naira to share as their own palliative in the country that the poor masses are dying. As if that one is not enough. When people complain about that one, they come out and tell us it was for furnitures at the National Assembly, Senate House, and the rest of them. And I ask, what happened to the furniture that was used by the previous administration? Nobody answered that question. Anyway, that is not the main point. People are complaining, say, oh, why must they share 70 billion naira? They say that it seems like people are complaining too much. They knocked them another one with the fuel hike. From 537 naira to 615 naira or 617 naira. That is the official price they put it to. But go to different place now. As of yesterday, in Oka, Anambra State, fuel was sold at the rate of 615 naira. Go to Akwa Ibom, 700 naira per liter of fuel. Then go to Abuja Axis. They are selling it for 620, 25, 30, depending on whatever the gasoline station or the fuel station decide to put their price. Nigeria. Ado Igwe President Tinubu Igwe. They want us to sacrifice, but they don't want to sacrifice. Anyway, my wonderful people, make on hear the current news. Oh, why can I come for now? This one might be the anchor of this news. I don't want to use that Charlie Boy headline to create a laugh, so that at least make on a laugh before now they watch news. Not every time person go to dodge the tie face. That is why when your tie face finish, you will come to my comment section and begin to attack me. Even when I am not innocent of the accusation laid against me. I beg make on don't kill me, Joe. Now my own business, now they do you do your own. So everybody making a listen, and make on no one listen, but at least you must listen to news every day. Sit at home. This one another news of sit at home. 8 good ways President Tinubu can end Southeast violence. The list is out there, and for you people to do what? To listen to it, digest it, and let me know what you think at the comment section. Please, let us be guided, and let us do what? Let us be mature and civic in our approach in that comment section. Everything I'm telling you here, and I can categorically tell you that I can defend it at any level. Even if you come at the court of law, I have my empirical evidence. Empirical facts. If na my This is my idol, Rufai Hussein of Arise TV. So my wonderful people, as you are watching, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, share, and also comment. Very, very important and very, very necessary. Let us go there. This is the reason why we are here this day. The Igbo Ape Social Cultural Organization will be Ohaneze Ndi Ori, call them Ohaneze Ndi Beribe. Anyway, we choose to address them, my dear. They made it because they have fall our hands in all ramifications. Today they will come and tell you, Bola Ahmed Tinubu need to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow they will tell you, deploy soldiers in the southeast. Next tomorrow they will come out again and tell you, declare state of emergency. Only that same people Ohaneze Ndi Beribe. I beg make I ask you, when you try me on Isi Guzoro and the likes of Dr. Manuel Iwanyan and Onya Abi Kilongbe, waiting will do honor. I beg on, I don't collect the Ghana must go finish and want to sell us. Finish the same way Uzodinma sell Imo State to the Fulanis. And the population of Imo State decreased the very first day Uzodinma was sworn in as the governor of Imo State. The population of Imo State reduced entirely. So if they are talking about Imo State now, say you want to create a local government, I swear to God, you could just create a ghost local government without nobody there to attend to you. The Ape Igbo Social Cultural Organization Ohaneze Ndi Beribe has suggested 8 ways President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can address the issue of sit-at-home and violence in the southeastern region of the country. Nigerian News report that the group made a suggestion in a statement signed by the Ohaneze Secretary General Okechukwu Isi Guzoro, fake one. They stated that peace and stability will be restored in the region if Tinubu implemented his suggestions on addressing the sit-at-home issues. Ohaneze urged Tinubu to dialogue with the relevant stakeholders in the southeast, including Biafran agitators, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, address the issue of marginalization in the southeast, ensure regional development initiatives, among other things. We are moving forward. Ohaneze Ndi Igbo worldwide, after her General Assembly meeting with her representatives from 7 Igbo-speaking states, including Ikwere in Rivers and Anioma in Delta State, at the end of the deliberations on Tuesday, 18th July 2023, some prevailing suggestions on how President Tinubu, in collaboration with regional bodies like Ohaneze Ndi Beribe and Southeast Governors Forum, could address the issue of sit-at-home, civil disobedience orders, and violent agitations in the southeast. Here are some possible steps open to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to restore peace and stability in the southeast in view of looming anarchy set up to consume southeast by one Simon Ekpa's 2-week sit-at-home order from the 31st of July to 14th day of August 2023 in the southeast. So the conditions where Isi Guzoro, the Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndi Beribe, list for Tinubu to use to end the sit-at-home is what I'm about to read out to my people. Number 1, dialogue and engagement. In that aspect, President Tinubu should initiate a dialogue with relevant stakeholders, including Ohaneze Ndi Beribe, Southeast governors, community leaders, and representatives of the Biafra agitating groups, such as IPOB, MASOB, BIM, and others. Open and sincere discussions can help identify the root causes of the grievances, address concerns, and find common ground for it. Number 2, release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is now considered appropriate and legal that President Tinubu could explore the possibility of releasing Nnamdi Kanu or granting him bail, depending on the legal proceedings, court orders that quash the charges against him. This step will help de-escalate tensions and create an atmosphere conducive to dialogue. Number 3, addressing marginalization concerns in Igbo land. President Tinubu should work with Southeast governors and other relevant officials to address the perceived marginalization and injustice against the Igbo people. This could involve implementing federal government policies and programs that promote inclusivity, equitable resource allocation, and socio-economic development in the said region. The number 4, regional development initiatives. The federal government, in collaboration with the Southeast governors, can launch specific initiatives aimed at boosting Infrastructural development like dams, dredging, and the establishment of deep sea port at Akwete, Blue River in Abia, and the interstate standard gauge railway lines, job creation and overseas training of repented Biafra agitators, and economic opportunities in the southeast. These initiatives should be designed to address the underlying socio-economic issues that contribute to the grievances of the people of southeast. Number 5 in our list here, security and law enforcement. President Tinubu should ensure that security agencies operate with ultimate professionalism and respect for human rights in dealing with civil disobedience and violent agitations. It is crucial to strike a balance between maintaining law and order while avoiding excessive use of force, which could further escalate tensions. Number 6, reconciliation and healing. President Tinubu, in collaboration with Ohaneze Ndiberibe, Southeast Governors Forum, and other stakeholders, to promote reconciliation efforts aimed at healing the wounds and division caused by the conflict. This could involve organizing Truth and Reconciliation Commission or other platform for acknowledging past injustice and fostering understanding among different groups. 7, youth empowerment and education. Investing in education and youth empowerment programs can help address the underlying issues of unemployment, poverty, and social inclusion that contribute to the grievances in the region, providing the opportunities for skills development. Entrepreneurship and quality education can empower the younger generation and foster a sense of hope for the future, according to them. The number 8, the last but not the least, political representation and participation. Promoting greater political representation and participation of the Igbo people at all levels of government, especially including Igbos, in the federal government formation of government of national unity, as it will help to address the concerns of Ndi Igbo, encouraging inclusive governance, and ensuring that the voices of the Southeast are heard in decision-making. Process can help build trust and confidence in political system. It is important to know that resolving such a complex issues in the Southeast requires a multifaceted approach and a sustained efforts over time. The suggestions above are general and should be adopted and tailored to the specific context and dynamics of the situation on the ground to how the attempts to escalate the violence by Mr. Simon EKPA 2 weeks sit at home. What is worse than Buhari done before us? They don't hit us. In fact, what is bigger than Nte have entered into the mouth of Nte. Nte is cricket, in case you don't understand. It means that what is bigger than cricket have entered into the mouth of cricket. In short, Nigerians on our way on the trial. If all this kind of thing is happening in other countries, I swear to God, the government will have packed and leave. But Nigerians, they are very, very easy to be distracted. Now they are preparing now, warming up now, to buy data that they will use to watch nakedness on a live TV show called Big Brothers, coming up very soon. Easy to be distracted. Everybody, they live a life of back if I name maybe. A veteran Nigerian entertainer, Charles Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy, has lamented over the present situation in the country. Nigerians record that there was a hike in the petroleum pump price of fuel from 539 to 617 in the Federal Capital Territory and other parts of the country. The price was adjusted from 539 to 63 per litre on Tuesday, yesterday. The National President and Independent Petroleum Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Eda Chinedu Okoronkwo, also confirmed the development. Okoronkwo explained that is the regime we are in with removing fuel subsidies. According to them, the prices will continue to fluctuate and based on the market forces and changes in dollar in the foreign exchange market. That is why we are pushing for an alternative to fuel, that is a CNG. Speaking on Twitter, Charlie Boy wondered what could be more chaotic than what Nigeria is currently expressing. He lamented that the present administration is worse than that of a former president, Muhammadu Buhari. He wrote, Which house was past this shege banza we dey see now? Exceptional Nigerian youths, obedient and lovers of a new Nigeria. What do we do if judicially fuck up? Because something wey was past Buhari don come. According to Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy, your mouth too bad. Anyway, let us proceed. House of Reps to probe appointments made by Buhari's government. Is that the problem we are facing? Is there in any way this thing can solve the problem or the issue at hand? Of fuel hike. They're not even deliberating about the fuel hike at the house. The only thing they're deliberating is how to probe the appointment made by Buhari and how they can share the 70 billion and 40 billion awaiting bulletproof cars for all the elected new ministers and old ministers. On our way down the short, Igwe, all the rulers of Nigeria, both from the local, from the state and federal level, in short, all of another, now 200 will use the glitch on that. Igwe, the House of Representatives is said to investigate the appointment made by former President Muhammadu Buhari during his 8 years tenure. The Green Chamber passed the resolution during the plenary session on Tuesday, following the adoption of a motion sponsored by Paul Namchi, Labour Party, Enugu State. During his tenure as president, Buhari was accused by critics of alleged lopsidedness in the appointment of people to head government offices, negating the principle of federal character. That is inclusiveness. But the Buhari administration dismissed the claim at the time, stating that the appointments were based on merit and not on ethnic sentiments. While moving the motion, the lawmaker said the essence of the federal character principle was to promote national cohesion and equal opportunities at all levels. The lawmaker also claimed that there is a clash of interest among the commissioners at the commission, which has made the agency abdicate its constitutional and statutory responsibilities. He said 24 years after its constitutional entrenchment, the perception is that there exists Brazilian domination of the bureaucratic, economic, media and political posts at all levels by a section of the country at the expense of others. Federal Character Commission has virtually abdicated its constitutional and statutory responsibilities and degenerated into personality clash of interest among its commissioners, as was the case about a year ago. The motion was adopted when it was put to vote by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Nkalo, who presided over the sitting. The House therefore resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the matter, among other things. It is also requested the Federal Character Commission to forward the returns on the appointment undertaken by ministries, departments, and agencies under its jurisdiction between 2015 to 2023. If we don't show that we have had enough, we are doomed, Charlie Boy, to Nigerians. Well, I thank you immensely all the time for speaking out, despite the fact that the youth you are calling, no more, they are nowhere to be found. The boys are on colos, while the girls now are into hookups. In your name, maybe. The leaders of tomorrow are now on colos. That is what we keep hearing on social media every now and then. On colos. I saw one the other day using his head to use hit iron. When I asked, they said on colos. Then asked other small girls, what are they into? Everyone is on hookup now. Oh no, one actually meet get up. Only why Meraye Bere. The veteran Nigerian entertainer Chukwuemeka or Charles Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy or Area Father, has said that the only way to make Nigeria better is to rebuild from scratch. The veteran stated this while reacting to lawyer and political activists Dele Farotimi's call to all Nigerians to lay down arms and come together in unity. Farotimi has tweeted, obedient Baptist, Mechanos, we all shop from the same market. We ply the same road, and our day-to-day realities and challenges mirrors each other. From Kankara to Yenagoa, from Ebajo to Aba, across this land, it is time to be in as united as our enemies are, or we are doomed. Sharing his thoughts on Fayotumi's submission, Charlie Boy opined that the only way to put an end to the crisis in the economy is to show that we have had enough of all this nonsense. He argued that Nigerians have to stop smiling and suffering and show that they have had enough. But nobody want to die. Everybody want to live. Just keep on suffering and smiling until only have a grave. And that will be the end of Solomon Grandi. The entertainer insisted that the only way forward is to allow everything come crashing down and rebuild. According to him, for long we have been mending, managing, and surviving, suffering and smiling until we show that we have had enough of this suffer. We are doomed. It is time to let it crash so we can now rebuild. The only way I see forward, according to Chukwuemeka Charles Oputa, area father, popularly known. Fani Kayode, the hungry man, or the hungry ex-minister, shares what former wife sent to him as surprise. This one is just a family problem. Get out of here. Nobody wants you. What they sent to you or what they did not send to you is none of our business. If they like, let them send to you heaven and earth. The first full stop should be comma. El-Rufai's wife corrects Rufai Oseni of Arise TV. Wife of a former governor, Madam Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, Hadeza, has publicly corrected Arise TV anchor Rufai Oseni on the correct use of punctuation marks. This comes after the prominent broadcaster journalist via his Twitter handle on Monday admonished Nigerian leaders to support local businesses by patronizing them, albeit with a lot of punctuation errors. He tweeted, to boast made in Nigerian cars. The present fleet must only made in Nigerian cars. Okay, must only be made in Nigerian cars. The Chancellor of Germany doesn't drive a made in Nigeria car. Our leaders must support our own. In reaction to the post, the former governor's wife corrected the journalist on how to appropriately use punctuation marks. She tweeted, that first full stop should be a comma and the last comma should be a full stop. You are welcome, according to the wife of Nasir El-Rufai. Rufai Oseni, on the other hand, reacts to Tinubu's tax palliatives. Meanwhile, Rufai Oseni recently commended President Bola Tinubu for signing executive orders into law to stop the multiple taxation policy in the country. Nigerians recall that Tinubu has signed 4 executive orders into law to curb arbitrary taxation policy in the country. Reacting to the policies, Oseni praised Tinubu for helping Nigerian businesses with the tax palliatives. However, he noted that former President Muhammadu Buhari has suspended most of the policies which Tinubu signed. He wrote, kudos to the president on the tax palliative for businesses. We must do more for the Nigerian people, according to Rufai Oseni. National Assembly, NAS, under scrutiny over bogus 70 billion naira allocation as palliatives. Last week, the National Assembly amended the 819.5 billion naira to 2022 supplementary budget containing an approval for 70 billion naira to support what he described as the working conditions of new members, new lawmakers, sorry. Daily Post report that the amendment was passed in both chambers of the National Assembly barely 24 hours after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu forwarded a request to the parliament. A breakdown of amended 819.5 billion naira supplementary budget shows that 500 billion goes for palliative to cushion the effect of the recent fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians, while 185 billion is for the Ministry of Works and Housing to alleviate the impact of the flooding disaster suffered in the country in 2022 on road infrastructure across the 6 geopolitical zones. Further details also show that the sum of 119.2 billion naira was allocated to the Ministry of Agriculture to alleviate the massive destruction to farmlands across the country during the flooding experienced last year, 10 billion to the Federal Capital Territory Administration for critical projects, 35 billion to the National Judicial Council, and 70 billion for the National Assembly to support the working conditions of the new members. However, the allocation of 70 billion to the lawmakers had attracted more criticism and mixed reactions from Nigerians. Among those who have voiced their disapproval of the allocation is human rights lawyer Femi Falana. Falana condemned the National Assembly's decision to allocate 70 billion naira to their assets as palliative for each member in a statement over the weekend, describing the move as illegal and contemptuous. According to the senior lawyer, the decision blatantly contravenes Section 70 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1999, which applies the appropriate remuneration and allowances for members of the National Assembly. Out of sheer insensitivity, coupled with impunity, the members of the National Assembly, regardless of political affiliations, conspired to breach the relevant provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 by passing the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023 to provide a so-called palliative of 70 billion naira for 306 newly elected members. Make una hear am o, una dey hear am. While the masses of Nigeria are groaning under the excruciating economic pains unleashed on them by the ruling class, the National Assembly has awarded 228.7 million naira to each newly elected legislator. As if that is not enough, the members of the National Assembly have earmarked 40 billion naira to purchase 465 sports utility vehicles, SUVs, and bulletproof cars for the principal officers and members. However, the legislators approved the sum of 500 billion naira for 12 million indigent people in the country, where the National Bureau of Statistics said 62.9% of people, that is 103 million, are multi-dimensional poor, he said. A government worker, Emmanuel Adama, also described the move to give 70 billion naira to less than 500 Nigerians and give 500 billion naira to millions of indigenous citizens who are battling harsh conditions instigated by the subsidy removal as unfair and insensitive, and also greed. It is very unfair that a lawmaker could go home with millions. They have successfully created an avenue to amass the people's wealth. The subsidy is going back to their pockets, he said. On its part, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SIRAP, indicated readiness to sue the federal government over the allocation of 70 billion naira to the National Assembly, which is described as ill-timed. We are suing the Tinubu administration over its unlawfully give away an allocation of 70 billion naira to the National Assembly at a time when over 137 million Nigerians are living in extreme poverty, exacerbated by the removal of fuel subsidy, SIRAP tweeted on Friday. SIRAP warned the administration to immediately withdraw the unlawful allocation or it will proceed to court. However, two members of the House of Representatives recently defended the National Assembly in the wake of the controversy. They will find one lie or the other to cover it. Honorable Peter Akpanke, representing Obalinku and Obudu and Bakwara Federal Constituency in Cross River State, and Honorable Dennis Abo, representing Igboeze North and Udenu Federal Constituency in Enugu State, said the funds will cover the renovations in the new chambers. What is new chamber? The same place people are saying to make the meeting is not the same place you want to renovate. What arrant nonsense. They do gave their defense on Monday while fielding questions on Channel Television Policy Today program. Akpanke said there's a lot of work to be done. If you go to the National Assembly, what is being renovated at the moment is the main chambers, and we are using the temporal chambers. Most of the members of the National Assembly did not return. Most of us are new members. The offices need to be renovated. Most offices are not in good condition, and it is unfortunate that this was not done before we were sworn in. That is arrant nonsense. What happens to the old offices that being used before? 70 billion naira is enough to build 70 house what they call it, National Assembly, 70 of them. if you go to some places, you will see certain things that you won't like. Water is leaking in some places, and all those things need to be fixed. Nonsense. Abo, a House member under the Labour Party, agreed with his counterpart that the National Assembly complex is dilapidated and needs renovation. As sessions comes and go, the entire complex ages. No member will collect 1 naira. It is to improve the working conditions. That is arrant nonsense. If the cost of that renovation or improving the working conditions is considered too high by Nigerians, they have the opportunity to still query it through their representatives, he said. Both further argued that they would speak up to Nigerians if the renovations were not carried out or the staff allowances and cars were not purchased. Speaking to Daily Post in an interview, the president of the Civil Rights Realization and Advancement Network, Olu Omotayo, said the act is condemnable and every reasonable Nigerian should be able to condemn it. Omotayo said it showed that the government was not ready to lead by example, noting that the nation's political leaders don't see themselves as leaders but rulers. They don't lead, they rule. And what they said is what they do. The legal expert also expressed support for trade by some civil society organizations to take the matter to court. He said, in this tight situation, you remove fuel subsidy, people are suffering, they have not come out of that, and people who are ruling are supposed to sacrifice because you lead by example. When you are asking people to sacrifice, you too must say, okay, that you are sacrificing this as well. You say you are giving 500 billion naira palliatives, and one section took 70 billion. So how do you reconcile that? It shows the way our political leaders are thinking. They don't see themselves as leaders but rulers. They just give instructions and want it be carried out immediately. In fact, I don't know which word to qualify it, but in a democracy, the action is highly condemnable. At this point in time, it is not what is supposed to be done. In advanced countries, you see members of the Congress entering commercial public transport or flying back to their constituency. We learn this democracy from the US. So why should our own be different? Why should they feel they are special? I heard that some civil societies have threatened to go to court. Whether they win or lose, they will still make a mark. We can't allow impunity to continue. I support those who are advocating to go to court because going to court will also help to create awareness. The Enugu State Chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Barrister Fabian Mwibu, told Daily Post in an interview that the government was not interested in what is happening to the generality of the people. Mwibu claimed that the government had exhibited some high-level insensitivity by increasing its size and made calls to cut the cost of governance. He called on the government to provide some palliative to the general public in the form of public transport assistance, noting that most Nigerians who are not working are suffering. He said, a country where we are saying that the government side is in excess and the government is extending its size, as well as providing for members of the National Assembly who are already saturated. In my opinion, that decision is reckless. It is a reckless one. People you are providing for are already saturated. Even the old ones are still there. They want to collect bulletproof cars. Come and think of an average civil servant who receives common 30,000 naira as minimum wage or special adjustment, as the case may be. Nobody is talking about them. We are hearing 8,000 naira as palliative or so. What is 8,000 naira? If it is added for someone who is receiving 30,000, it becomes 38,000. In a country where you are selling fuel between 550 to 650, depending on your location. This is Carlos' decision. It shows that the government is not absolutely interested in what is happening to the generality of the people. An average Nigeria today is suffering beyond measure. I buy fuel between 30,000 naira to 40,000 naira every week because of the nature of my job. I move around regularly. Like today, I am going to get 20,000 naira worth of fuel. Before the end of the week, I will have spent about 35,000 naira or more. Honestly, that has been the situation for me since this subsidy removal And how much is the salary of the person that is talking with you? How much is the salary of an average Nigerian? So the implication is that the government has displayed some high level of insensitivity. What is the percentage of 70 billion naira to 500 billion naira or whatever they said will be the palliative? And how many people will be involved compared to over 200 million Nigerians? That decision for me is out of place, and it's a joke. It is very clear that the workers and the Nigerians are suffering. The pay to workers is not something to write home about. An average Nigerian is not working. There should be some palliative to the general public. Meanwhile, the spokesman for P2B, Dati Baba Ahmed Presidential Campaign Organization, Yanusa Tanko, told Daily Post in an interview that the government should rather find a way of making the citizens more comfortable than making them more angry. Tanko stated that if the citizens were made to be more comfortable, it will reduce corruption, stealing, and anger. He said, I think most importantly, it will have been a reverse situation if it is, where the citizens are being made to be more comfortable. What it does in a way is that it reduces corruption, it reduces stealing, and it reduces anger. It makes the citizens more productive, and it gives the judges less work to do, because when the citizens are comfortable and level of crime is very low, you find out that the judicial has less work to do, and which is very, very necessary. Also, there will be any kind of manipulation that will take place at the National Assembly in order to indulge, increase, or manipulate any figure, because everything is being done in the interest of people who are larger in number. I would rather suggest to those who are corrupting the National Assembly to think deeply to find a way of making the citizens more comfortable, which will have an effect on both their government and the people in general, rather than making the people more angry. The way they are going, it may lead to a very harsh revolution in this country, because the citizens are very angry and uncomfortable. Abia Assembly suspends leader of PDP caucus, Akpolono, for 14 days. The member representing Obingwa East State constituency in the Abia State House of Assembly and leader of the PDP caucus, Solomon Akpolono, has been suspended for 14 sitting days. Making the pronouncement on the floor of Abia State House of Assembly on Tuesday, the Speaker of the House, Emmanuel Emerowa, said the 8th Abia House of Assembly cannot tolerate acts of insubordination, adding that Akpolono has been inciting members of the House against the leadership of the 8th National Assembly. He pointed out that it was absolutely wrong for the lawmaker to be granting media interviews and revealing all the House have been doing without proper clearance from the leadership of the Assembly, insisting that what is done in the House should remain also in the House. Emerowa said Akpolono has been causing chaos in the Assembly since its inauguration, stressing that he has tolerated him for too long. He insisted that as lawmakers, it is normal to disagree as long as it is done with decorum and within the confines of the law. The Speaker further stated that even though Akpolono was not present during the plenary, his suspension will be communicated to him immediately. Daily Post recorded that 11 members of the People's Democratic Party PDP in the 8th House of Assembly staged walkouts protesting that the majority seat, among others, be given to the party, since they considered the leadership and deputy speakership of the House to the Labour Party, which has 10 members as well. Following the development, the Speaker of the House had 2 weeks ago cautioned against any form of distraction by some members of the House. So my wonderful people, my viewers and subscribers, those who love what I'm doing, I hope this message gets to every nooks and crannies of our dear nation. So make sure I take this one the step down. Until you hear my voice again, I still remain your one and the only Okute Daily Talk. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and also comment as you are watching. So because all the very, very important and very, very necessary. Have a nice day. May the Almighty God bless us all, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Kemesiano.